Welcome back, my rain-slicked philosophers of the sidewalk, my plastic bag prophets of the no-return lane. Hobo Yeti here, still blinking, still breathing, still legally ambiguous in 3 municipalities and spiritually feral in at least 5. You know, they say solitude breeds clarity, but they don't mention the part where it also breeds hallucinations and full-blown conversations with squirrels named Gary. See, being alone too long doesn't just fracture the psyche, it marinates it slowly in its own juices like a meat left too long on the counter of existence. And too much time without human contact and the brain starts doing weird things, like narrating your walk to the dumpster in a BBC accent, or inventing a nemesis named Carl who's just a log. We need touchstones, we need moments, tiny sparks, to remind us we're still part of the species, not just the warning label they hide in the alley. So, in that spirit, here are a few glorious and weird ways to keep your mind stitched together while the world does its best to pull at every thread. 1. Wash your hands, arms, and face like you're scrubbing off existential dread. Seriously, whether it's a bathroom at the park, a grocery store sink, or a hidden spigot behind a gas station, wash what you can. There's something oddly restorative about watching dirt circle the drain, like shame and stink and the emotional residue of sleeping under a freeway. A proper hobo bath, done with a little towel and bottled water in your tent, can feel like a high-priced spa experience minus the cucumber water and dignity. And clean clothes. My friend, wearing fresh underwear after a week of emotional mud wrestling with the universe is enough to make you believe in God again. Even if you don't, trust him with the big stuff like weather or justice. 2. Audiobooks, a symphony of sanity in your ears. I've got about 100 Audible books downloaded over the years, and they've probably saved my brain more than once. Some of those narrators are like old friends, the kind that don't ask questions or need a ride. If you're broke, Audible actually offers some free selections. Short stories, guided meditations, podcasts, things that gently yank you out of the now. A good novel playing in your headphones turns a walk to nowhere into a secret mission. Even the worst nights when it's too cold or too loud or too damn unfair feel survivable when someone's telling you a story that ends better than yours, for now, but maybe not forever. 3. Podcasts, like eavesdropping on humanity without having to participate. There's a podcast for everything: true crime, philosophy, history, interviews with authors who sound like they've never eaten a Hot Pocket in a parking lot. It's social contact without the risk of smelling weird. I binge long-form conversations to feel less like a ghost and more like someone who's still in the loop, even if I haven't talked to another human in days. There's something grounding about hearing people talk about their lives when yours feels like it's unraveling on the side of a bus station. Podcasts make you feel part of a larger, invisible crowd, a crowd that isn't yelling at you to move along or questioning your ability to buy a small tea. 4. Free music, the cheapest therapist you'll never meet. Spotify's free tier is clunky, yes, but it delivers. That old playlist from your pre-homeless life still hits. Or, you can turn YouTube music into offline MP3s using sites like mp3ifi.com and build yourself a little apocalypse soundtrack. I've walked hours to a single lo-fi beat and genuinely forgot I was wearing the same pants as last Tuesday. Sometimes I even air drum under my hoodie like a lunatic just to remind myself I still have rhythm, if not reason. Music fills the silence, pushes back the dark, makes the tent flap feel like a concert hall. And if the beat drops at the right moment, you might just forget you haven't had a hot meal in a week. 5. Offline games, infinite levels, zero consequences. I'm not talking about those multiplayer games that suck up data and battery life like a vampire with a Red Bull addiction. I mean the dumb, simple, beautiful offline games. Sudoku, brick breakers, match 3 puzzles, anything that lets you zone out, click things, and forget that the world is on fire and you're its unpaid background character. Some games have thousands of levels. Thousands. You could spend the next 2 years solving puzzles about fruit and still never reach the end. That's my kind of therapy. Cheap, bright, and blissfully pointless. No pressure to win. No leaderboard judging your failures. Just tap, tap, tap until your brain stops chewing on its own regrets like a feral dog. 6. Amazon Prime and the Wi-Fi hustle. If you've got EBT, you can get Amazon Prime for $6.99 a month. Totally worth it. You get access to Prime Video, and here's the magic part. You can download episodes while you've got Wi-Fi. Find a cafe, library, or kind-hearted McDonald's, grab some bandwidth, and suddenly your tent becomes a Netflix bunker. I once binge-watched all of The Expanse while it rained for 3 days straight, and I swear I came out the other side wiser, wetter, and a little more emotionally attached to spaceships. Don't underestimate what a good show can do to tether your mind to something other than survival. Entertainment is hope, with subtitles and popcorn. 7. The library, temple of light, sockets, and silence. You think libraries are just for books? Think again. They are the last truly democratic space in America. You can go in stinking like roadkill wrapped in tarp, and as long as you're quiet, nobody cares. Plug in your phone, read magazines you can't afford, sip water, and feel safe. The fluorescent lights, the hush, the librarian who gives you a nod like, yeah, I see you. It all adds up to temporary dignity. Some libraries even have streaming movies or tablets you can borrow. If society was a collapsing ship, the library is the one lifeboat that doesn't check for a dress code. It is, in a word, grace. Smells like books and second chances. 8. A fast food tea and a moment of peace. You don't need to buy a feast. Sometimes a hot tea and some dollar menu fries are all you need to press pause on the chaos. Sit inside. Charge your stuff. Sip something warm that doesn't taste like river water. I like to stare out the window and imagine I'm just on break from a life that makes sense. Even when you're surrounded by families, students, or screaming children, there's something normal about it. If the staff's chill and you don't overstay, it's like renting a little piece of the American dream for 99 cents. And hey, warmth and Wi-Fi? That's practically luxury. 9. The forest knows you, let it. Public parks feel like someone else's dream. Too many joggers, birthday balloons, and judgmental squirrels. But abandoned forested lots? Now that's peace. I have spots with names like Old Oak Silence and Trash Hill Vista. You find a patch of shade, sit your weary bones, and for a moment, just a flicker, you remember what it felt like to be human. Nature doesn't care if you're broke. The trees don't ask questions. The birds don't call the cops. It's one of the few places where being alone doesn't feel like punishment. It feels like truth. Bring tea, bring thoughts, leave shame at the tree line. 10. Hotels, expensive sanity, worth it. Once in a while, after a good month or a surprise donation, I spring for a hotel. Not for luxury, God no. I can't even sleep in hotels anymore. Everything's too soft, too clean, too uncanny. But I shower. I clean everything, I charge everything, I walk around naked just because I can, and if I'm smart, I book 2 nights. 1 to do the work, 1 to collapse like a Jenga tower of regret and joy. Watching bad TV while wrapped in white towels, that's not just self-care, that's borderline resurrection. The world out there can't touch you in a Super 8 with thick curtains. 11th projects, passion, something that's yours. For me, it's making videos. I record voiceovers, I draft scripts like this, I edit when I can, because it's mine. No boss, no rules, no door that says no homeless. Just me and an idea trying to survive the day together, find your thing, write haikus about burritos, draw faces in the dirt, invent weird backstories for the people who ignore you. The point isn't success, it's to remind yourself that your brain still works, that even when the world gives you scraps, you can still build a damn cathedral out of them. 12th, the noble Walmart scooter quest. You've walked for miles, your feet are soup, and the fluorescent lights of Walmart beckon like a glowing cathedral of cheap plastic dreams. And there they are, the scooters, quiet, ready, unlocked. You hop on, you beep once like royalty, and off you roll. You browse, you reconnect to Wi-Fi, you contemplate the wonders of processed cheese and bulk socks, and nobody cares. You've just bought yourself 20 minutes of sitting, thinking, rolling, and pretending you're in control of your own momentum, which, metaphorically, isn't nothing. 13. Create rituals. Structure keeps the mind from crumbling. I always eat the same snack at sundown. I always check my tarp ties before lying down, even if it's not windy. I play one game of hole-em-all every morning. Ritual isn't superstition, it's scaffolding. When everything around you is chaos, having a few set actions, a way you fold your blanket, a phrase you whisper before bed, even a wipe down in the same rhythm, anchors you. Rituals let you mark the passage of time when you don't have calendars or clocks or reasons. It's not about being productive. It's about not floating off into madness like a helium balloon of trauma. In the end, sanity out here isn't a destination. It's a fight, a weird, sweaty, unshaven brawl with the void, and the void cheats. But every time you wash your face or laugh at your own dumb thoughts, or listen to a podcast while the world burns gently in the distance, you win for another day. I hope your road is a good one, and if you're homeless, I hope it doesn't suck for you. Peace.